On this Tuesday morning, the 2nd of February 2021, it's Groundhog's Day.
It is.
Now, I don't know if I'm going to do my annual Groundhog Day rant or not. Well, I guess we'll see later in the show. But having come from the state of Pennsylvania, I think that Groundhog Day is probably the worst thing that Pennsylvania ever gave the world.
Oh, please, do tell why.
Shall I do it now?
Sure. Why not?
Just first of all, the idea that a varmint's going to predict the weather is patently ridiculous. I mean, we do know that some animals can be observed by their hibernation patterns and things like that, but groundhogs aren't essentially animals that hibernate. They're not in the sense that bears hibernate. A groundhog might go into its den and sleep for 24 hours, but it doesn't hibernate.
So technically, I could be considered a groundhog occasionally.
But let's talk about it. I am from the state of Pennsylvania, so let's talk about Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. A tiny little town of very little consequence whatsoever that actually has extra hotels in it. Why? For one day, because I guarantee you, last night, every hotel room in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania was filled so that people could get up before dawn, well before dawn, to have themselves a stiff breakfast, well before dawn, so that they could gather at Gobbler's Knob and get themselves pretty well drunk, well before dawn.
So they've got, or at one time had, a pretty good chamber of commerce would find a way to bring some money into the town.
Yeah, this is the one and only thing. If you think about a town having a tourism economy, this is a one-day tourism
It's
economy.
kind of like Rain, the Frog Festival.
But they will bring 100,000 people into Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
Because
for
groundhogs are
Day.
cuter than frogs.
They're not cute at all. You know, groundhog, look, take a nutria and knock out its front teeth, and you got a groundhog.
Well, with the exception of the dental work. I mean, if you look, Brad Harris is coming on with us, and you know, now that he's wearing facial hair, he's kind of cute, looking like a groundhog. He's got that kind of groundhog vibe going.
Here's one more thing. The whole thing about Groundhog Day is if he sees his shadow, 6 more weeks of winter. Now, if he sees his shadow, that would mean abundant sunshine that morning.
Yeah.
Wouldn't abundant sunshine suggest to you an early spring, not 6 more weeks of winter? It should be the exact opposite. If he does not see his shadow, that means the sun is occluded by cloudy skies of wintertime and 6 more weeks.
And he's not going to see it today because it's snowing like crazy there.
I saw the proclamation actually almost live from Gobbler's Knob, and it had just started snowing, and the proclamation was shadow seen, 6 more weeks of winter. And I wasn't even I just turned on the morning news on Channel 33 this morning, and that's what Jaron Jordan was running. It's like, really, Jaron? Really?
I think they have stopped doing this. And by the way, I think your rant is right on target. But
it's the silliest thing.
God bless them for making some tourism money in this little town.
And what's even sillier is here in Louisiana and others all around the country, people imitate it with whatever
That's
local
what
farming.
I was going to go off on.
Thank you. Go ahead,
In some
please.
place in Louisiana where they have to pump in sunshine, that has a population of 12 with an average IQ of 68, they have some sort of cage environment that they haul out and do the same thing.
I can tell you, it is New Iberia. It is the wonderful town of New Iberia.
I often wonder what happened to old Iberia.
Where they trot out Pierre C. Shadow. And see if the nutria, the Cajun nutria, saw his shadow or not.
You know what? I think even they have gotten smart enough to abandon that, to go away from that.
They're not going to bring people the way the Gobbler's Knob, the way the Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania does. I mean, literally, did you see the crowd this morning?
There's always a huge crowd.
It's 20, 30,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
For, yep, he saw a shadow. How can you tell? Trust me, he saw a shadow.
Well, I mean, that's like the people who will line the streets 8 deep to go and watch Crew of Grella. The parade's got like 8 floats and it lasts 20 minutes. It's just something they want to do, and they get used to doing it. They don't know why they're doing it, but they do it. But boy, I bet you they buy a lot of booze in those taverns.
Yep.
By the way, up north, folks, bars stay open 24 hours a day.
Some do.
Yeah.
Some counties let the bar stay open 24/7.
Because you have a lot of what we call industry up north, and people work shifts. And for a lot of people, midnight is their 5 p.m.
Plus, in the state of Pennsylvania, you still cannot buy liquor and beer at your grocery store. You have to go to the state-owned liquor store.
To the ABC store.
You have to go to the state-owned liquor store to get your liquor and your beer. Pennsylvania's a messed up state. I say as a proud former Pennsylvanian.
Well, there are a lot of people that that talk about their former states and think that they are messed up. But you know what? I started a few years ago, and I haven't really done much of it, but I've started a kind of a bucket list for myself about events I want to go to.
Uh-huh.
I want to go to the Indianapolis 500.
Well, that's excitement.
Yeah, I want to go to the Super Bowl. Okay,
That's excitement.
You know, I want to do, you know, things like that. You know, I've been to like bowl games and things like that, so that didn't make it. Never on my bucket list has it been go to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, to watch a giant rat held up by a guy who looks a lot like him, wearing tails and a top hat, in front of a crowd of 20,000 drunks in a place called Gobbler's Knob.
Gobbler's Knob, which sounds really profoundly dirty.
Well, but it's a place where turkeys used to roost,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Gobbler's turkeys.
And Knob Hill.
Yeah, but that's not on my bucket list.
No. No.
You know, it
My
really
bucket
isn't.
list, one of the items I've always wanted to do is go to Pamplona, Spain, and not run with the bulls, but just watch people get gored.
Yeah.
I think that would be immensely fun. He'd be that guy just belly laughing out the
see,
window.
What you do is you'd walk in, and if you're smart about this, you'd go to one of the locals, and you'd give them a couple euros and say, tell me the point along this route where the Americanos start to get really tired and slow down. And that's where you're going to want to be. You don't want to be at the beginning. They're going to be terrified and fast and drunk. But if you go to the middle or so where they all slow down, that's where you're going to see some action.
Exactly.
That's where you're going to see some action.
All right, time for our first break of the hour. Coming up this hour on Exiles TV, we're going to talk emergency medical services and heinous stupid crime. Coming up next on Exiles.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Back with Exiles TV. I'm putting on my glasses because I'm going to read from the news now.
Hey, I just saw your shadow.
Hey.
6 more weeks of news.
What? This is, as I teased, it's a heinous and incredibly stupid crime in which 2 women lost their lives. I've always had a problem with people that wanted somebody dead but didn't have the guts to do it themselves. Not that I think people should commit murder, but I definitely think people should not hire someone to commit murder for them. Montague, Louisiana.
Where is that?
Montague.
Yeah.
Anybody help me out?
Anybody know where Montague
Terrebonne
is?
Parish, I believe. I want to say Terrebonne. Oh, let me scan
Yeah,
down.
it's down on the
Sheriff's
bayou.
Office, Terrebonne Parish.
Yeah, down on the bayou.
Okay, down on the bayou, where Beau Cormier is suspected of raping a member of his family.
Are you kidding?
He's a rape suspect. Allegedly raped his niece. He hired 2 men to kill his niece so she could not testify against him.
How old is the niece?
I don't know. That's not really mentioned. I think they're writing the story so as to protect that intended victim. Here's what happened though. Beau wasn't going to do it himself, so he hired Andrew Erskine, who is you remember the Incredible Hulk from the old TV show?
Yeah.
Imagine that as a white guy with a neck beard, and that's Andrew.
Well, yeah, his neck is as wide as his head with the ears attached.
And another fellow by the name of Dalvin Wilson, who has beautiful, beautiful dreadlocks.
Dalvin?
Dalvin. So anyway, he hired Andrew and Dalvin to kill the victim for them. Well, the alleged killers went to a home to carry out the sentence. And when they arrived at the home, this was on the night of January 13th, Cormier's sister, Brittany Cormier, told the shooter she was the rape victim because they were asking for the girl by name. We're here for blah, blah, blah. That's me.
Did they announce that they were going to kill her?
I don't know this, but the shooter shot and killed Brittany Cormier, the defendant's sister, and a second woman who was also in the home, 37-year-old Hope Nettleton, who attempted to fight the shooters off.
Wow.
The shooter, now this is from a spokesman for, let's see, Sheriff Tim Soniet, or is it Sonier? I don't know, anyway, and Terrebonne Parish Sheriff, says the shooter asked for the rape victim by name, and Brittany Cormier tells the shooter she is the rape victim, accepting her fate to save the life of the victim. There were good people that ended up dying. It's really hit the community hard. So these 2 boneheads killed the wrong woman and a woman that they weren't hired to kill. Then, of course, when they were arrested, they were all too vocal about who hired them. Cormier's arrested for 3rd-degree rape of a family member and likely faces a substantial sentence if he's convicted as a registered sex offender. And then there is the charge of murder for hire.
Jeez.
So here's the lesson. When you hire somebody to kill somebody, you give them a photo and say, this is what they look like.
No, first you give them an IQ test.
But what you don't do is you don't conspire to murder another human being.
Good God. Well, speaking of wanting to kill another human being, this comes from the city of Shreveport. So this happened in the middle of the afternoon. A 27-year-old man who has been identified as Zakoye, Zaokoye Chapman, went into Oxnard LSU Health Medical Center in Shreveport with what witnesses describe as a large knife, and he stabbed 2 women. One of them, a 48-year-old nurse who also happens to be his mother.
Wow.
Both of his victims are hospitalized right there in Shreveport with serious wounds. His mother, from her hospital bed, said, oh, by the way, it's possible that he's wanted for murder in New Orleans as well.
Maybe.
You know, I was thinking about this as he was plunging the knife that he stole from the block in my house. Mm-hmm. As he was plunging the knife into me, that you know what? Maybe there's something to this murder charge in New Orleans after all. That he might be wanted in New Orleans.
Maybe my boy is not a good boy. And maybe he sometime do something wrong.
Well, and here's the deal.
His own mother.
His own mother.
Do we have any idea what his motive was?
They are not releasing if they know. But here's the deal. The vehicle that he arrived in, his 1901 green Saturn mini SUV,
1901, were they making them back then?
Well, this one looks like it was made back then.
Oh, yeah, I see it. It's a piece of crap.
Yeah. Was used in the murder in New Orleans that he may well be wanted for, according to Mama.
Wow.
Yow.
Wow. Okay.
So, you know, this is what I call Chamber of Commerce crime.
So he did this in this hospital in front of...
2:17 in the afternoon.
In front of how many
broad
witnesses?
daylight. Oh, the nurse was working
Dozens
on a
of
unit.
witnesses?
Oh, yeah. The police, they had like 20 cops there just to take witness statements. There's nothing like a good old-fashioned Louisiana homicidal imbecile. Nothing like it.
Wow.
Nothing, you know, we can lay claim to that in this state. We are probably the capital of having homicidal
country's
imbeciles.
Stupidest murderers.
Yeah.
Welcome to Louisiana, home of the stupidest murderers on record.
That half of the po' boy is mine. No, it's not. It's yours. Now we're gonna. Somebody's gonna die because we're arguing over whose half of the po' boy it is. Welcome. You know what did it say? Bienvenue à Louisiana.
Yes.
Yeah. What is the slogan now? Take something with you.
Take something with you.
You know, when you go, take a little bit of us. How about we take one of our homicidal imbeciles when you go?
Please.
Yow. In a hospital in broad daylight. And again, from her bed, she tells the cops, well, you know, I kind of forgot about this. He might be wanted for murder in New Orleans, too. Does that help?
Oh, and by the way, before we go to break here in Baton Rouge, closer to home, 3 non-fatal shooting incidents in 24 hours. 3. The mayor has a press conference to talk about gun violence scheduled for 11 o'clock today. Mayor Sharon Weston Broome. We'll see what that's going to yield.
Yowzer.
If she says more midnight basketball, I swear to God,
No, we got to do
All
something
right.
different.
Commercial break.
Not midnight basketball. How about midday Scrabble? They could learn how to spell.
There you go. Emergency medical services. Our guest coming up next on Exiles TV, right there.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Team Honda wants to thank you for once again making us Louisiana's #1 new car dealer by offering you never-before-seen savings. For the first time ever, get 0% financing up to 60 months on some of your favorite Honda models. Get thousands in savings right now at Team Honda on Siegen Lane.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. He's wearing that because I made fun of him talking about Punxsutawney Phil. Brad Harris, a lieutenant with the East Baton Rouge Parish EMS, who is a visitor to our show on many occasions. And we invited him today because, first of all, let's start with this. You all just got a very big national certification that the public should know about. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so we just got awarded our CAS certification. CAS stands for the Commission on Ambulance Alliance Standards. That's something we have to do every 3 years. Basically, they set the standard for the gold model of what an ambulance service should be. They don't only look at our ambulances, but they look at our organizational structure, how our employees are trained, how they're treated, human resources, kind of things like that, and then their standards are higher than what the state recommends. So the state might say these are the bare minimum things that you need on an ambulance. They go above and beyond that. This year it was virtual due to COVID. We made it a little bit harder because of that. We had to do a lot of virtual conferencing and things of that nature. Normally they would come out and do like a 3-day review of our systems, but we did it all digitally, virtually. I think we submitted to like an 1,800 page document to them. I mean, it was a binder of information, and we passed with flying colors. They said that we exceeded their expectations even. This was version 3. I think the next time we have to do it in 3 years, it's gonna be version 4, so it'll be a little more detailed even.
Well, and as I understand it, this is not something that every EMS company or ambulance company in the nation gets.
Correct. This is something that we actually have to go out and voluntarily apply for. And what it does is tells the public, tells you that, hey, we are the gold standard. In the state of Louisiana, there's only 2 ambulance companies that have CAS accreditation, us and Acadian Ambulance. Mm-hmm. They're private, we're municipal, so we are the only municipal EMS service in the state with this accreditation.
So, as I understand it, this also helps the community as a whole, much like a fire department getting a Class 1.
Exactly, it's exactly like that.
The insurance rating companies, well, you know, in every kind of casualty insurance or medical insurance, they say, well, you're served by a municipal EMS service mm-hmm. that has this kind of accreditation, so it might shave a few cents off your premium every month.
And what it also allows us to do is we just got into an agreement with CMS, which is the Medicare company, and we're doing a pilot program right now called ET3 that stands for Triage, Treat, and Transport. And what that does is it allows us to transport to alternative destinations. So with these COVID patients, we can either transport you to the hospital, we can go to an after-hours clinic, like a lake after hours, or we could do telemedicine with the doctor's office. So if you call us, we come to your house, we'll do an evaluation on you, and if you say, I don't really want to go to the hospital, I just need to talk to a doctor, we could do telemedicine right there in your house.
Really? From the ambulance?
Correct. This is Medicare's way of basically, because of COVID, they're trying to keep people out of the hospitals. It cuts down on the cost as well, because before Medicare could only get reimbursed if they went by ambulance to a hospital. Now they're exploring other options that are cheaper than a hospital visit.
I think it's a very good idea to have alternatives.
Yes.
I noticed that Acadian, as you said, is carrying the same kind of accreditation you do now.
Correct.
They did a kind of a press release on it. Mm-hmm. They, of course, are not the presence in Baton Rouge that they once were, but they're still a presence here.
Right.
But isn't there, how do I want to put this? Isn't there a danger that you're going to run into some old crank like me that really needs to be in the hospital, and he convinces you, no, I didn't want to go to the hospital, just let me talk to the doctor, and you know, what shields your sworn paramedics and EMTs and anybody else who does this, what shields them from additional liability when you're out there doing this?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. This is just another tool in our toolbox. So, before we had this availability of the telemedicine, if you were having chest pains and I really thought that you needed to go to the hospital, I'd say, Bill, you might be having a heart attack. This is what I can do for you. I can give you these medications. I can treat you. I can bring you to the hospital. This is what we need to do. And if you still were adamant about, I am not going, let me die here right now, unfortunately for you, we would have to get the police department involved, and we could actually put you in what's called protective custody and bring you to the hospital against your will. This is a tool in our toolbox to where we could talk to a doctor, and hopefully the doctor would convince you to go. Now, it's not just a virtual visit where you talk. The doctor can actually write you a prescription. You can get it filled at the pharmacy. So that'll save you from going to a hospital. He can say, look, I think you need a prescription for an antibiotic, and they can do that. If you have a minor injury, let's say you twist your ankle, something like that nature, we can go to the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. We can bring you straight there. You skip the step of going to the hospital and then referring to them.
Now that's pretty handy.
We bring you straight there. You not having to incur a hospital bill and then that other bill. We're just cutting out the middleman a little bit. It helps us out, hospital out, and you.
We were talking yesterday about we have a lot of officers in Baton Rouge that are assigned to traffic duty. And sometimes you'll have 2 or 3 officers writing up an accident that doesn't have major damage or any kind of injuries, and it takes them out of street patrol where people are shooting.
Right.
I'm going to assume that you all have some mechanism to where you're not doing a 2-hour office visit in somebody's driveway and keeping your rig out of service for that amount of time with this.
So this ET3 model just went active yesterday. So this is only the 2nd day into it. We did a little trial run over the previous month, and the numbers so far are showing that, yes, it might take us 30 minutes at your house to talk to this doctor and whatnot, but versus going to the hospital, you got transport time, and then we have the time at the hospital, and then putting our truck back in service. It's negligible. It's almost a little bit faster to do the treat on scene, depending on what the nature of the illness is.
But if there's a serious emergency, and it's like, we need you guys on the spot, like now, do you have a procedures in place to say, sir, I'm sorry, we got a bail, we got, traffic, massive traffic accident,
No, we don't. So what we're doing now basically is, once you're assigned to a call and you're on that call, I have to be on that call. I cannot leave you there without figuring out either you want to go to the hospital, you don't want to go to the hospital, things of that nature. Now, what we are doing to help with the call volume, because it is going up as it always does, is we are recruiting. So we are actively recruiting new paramedics and new basic EMTs to fill these ambulance roles that we were just allotted through the city parish. We were given 32 new positions to hire.
Nice.
And we also, hopefully this summer, we're going to receive 16 new ambulances. That is going to just drastically improve our fleet to where we will have more trucks available at any given time so that we will be able to answer all these calls.
I have a nephew who at 17 just passed his EMT exams, and he's looking forward to his 18th birthday because he's hoping to become a coworker once he turns 18, and very excited about it. He got into it almost overnight. A tragedy happened. His next door neighbor needed emergency medical care, and his mother's a respiratory therapist. Him and his mom ran next door, and they tried to keep the guy alive via CPR, but nevertheless, by the time the ambulance arrived, it was too late. But it triggered something in this young man, and he decided, I want to do this.
Yeah.
So God bless him.
Last time we had you with us, we talked about the recruitment effort that you all are putting in.
Right.
What does it pay to, and do you have an academy where they get additional training so that they can be part of East Baton Rouge Parish EMS?
So unfortunately, right now we closed our academy down. We did have one up until this past year. One program that we have that's available to high school age kids is what's called the Exploring program. Exploring is through the Boy Scouts of America. It's a program that allows kids 14 to 20 years old to learn a trade. It's not just with EMS. They have one for the fire department, the police department, whatever field you're interested in. So these kids at 14 can come in, we'll give them a CPR license, they'll get their EMR certification, which is Emergency Medical Responder, and then they can actually come ride on the ambulances, figure out if this is something that they want to do or if it's something they don't want to do. And then that way we've saved them, you know, the time and the money of getting their degree and then realizing this is not what they want to do. So we just started our first class, or our next class just started. So we have 23 new applicants that are currently going through training, and in about 6 weeks, they'll be on the ambulance.
So,
But as far as EMTs, unfortunately, no, we do not have a program right now.
certification, as I remember it from the dark ages when we still bled people with leeches, certification is national.
Yes.
So if somebody from Arlington, Texas decides they want to come to work with East Baton Rouge
Yes.
EMS and they are paramedic certified,
Right.
they start as a paramedic? They don't have to start at the bottom?
So, well, what's going to happen is currently they'd have to get their state EMT. So just because you work in Texas and you have a Texas license, you're still going to have to get a Louisiana license. However, there is something, I can't remember the name of it, but it's going to be a national recognition to where you can cross state lines. So they're kind of doing away with the state cards, and once you have your national EMT, you can go work in Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, whatnot. We do recruit in other areas. We go to Mississippi, we recruit there. Texas, not so much, but we've got applicants from all across the country.
Now, when someone comes here, are we looking at, I mean, we have always been very, very proud of EMS in this parish. It's one of those agencies that always seems to function very, very well. Is our pay scale competitive here compared with other areas of the country?
You got to factor in cost of living in Louisiana. You have someone coming from New York City, obviously they're going to want $50 an hour or something like that. Our starting pay for paramedics is about $22 an hour.
Nice. So
But
it's not bad.
It's not terrible. And you know, EMTs, I believe it's like $16 an hour, but our cost of living's lower.
Yes.
So,
And again, it is organized like a military service in that there is room for advancement as you continue on year after year.
correct. And if we hire you on as an EMT, you can go back and get your paramedic and get in that pay scale.
We're going to continue with Brad Harris with Baton Rouge EMS, Emergency Medical Services. I want to talk about some of the emergency medicine in the streets that we're experiencing right now in our area and all throughout Louisiana in just a moment on Exiles TV. Stick around.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Of all the auto brands on the road today, only one has been named the best auto brand for 6 straight years. That brand is Mazda. Come shop and save on the award-winning lineup of new Mazdas right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Hey, welcome back to Exiles. There can be no doubt the city of Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge Parish has one of the finest municipal emergency medical services, ambulance services around. They do so much more than merely go pick you up and haul you to the emergency room.
It's not just the old swoop and scoop anymore.
Nowadays, those guys, especially if you're a cardiac patient, you think you're having a heart attack, it could be the difference between life and death having EMS come to your house. As a matter of fact, Bill not only survived a heart attack, Bill was a spokesperson for, what was it called? It was Don't Drive, Stay Alive.
Survive, Don't Drive, yes.
Yeah. But our guest is Lieutenant Brad Harris with EMS here in Baton Rouge. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, we're talking about the money. So somebody starts at about $45K a year, but you got a lot of benefits, and as you said, you don't really make that because you got guaranteed overtime.
Yeah, you have built-in overtime, which is time and a half, and then you have your retirement system through the city of Baton Rouge, which is phenomenal.
Wow.
So after, even just after 10 years, you get what's called vested. So you could leave after 10 years with some type of a retirement. You get 12 days of vacation every year. You have holiday, you have sick time. The insurance is provided through the city, through Blue Cross. I mean, you have a lot of benefits.
I would say
that your insurance is a complete benefit. There's no employee copay.
No, you pay into it, but I guess the dollar amount per hour is not just the dollar amount.
That sounds like a very attractive package to me as far as pay and benefits together.
Right.
I mean, you could find yourself, being in pretty good bucks.
Well, and again,
just a short time.
If you are a little more mature person, don't be afraid of making an inquiry because. Let's say you're 50 and you want to work till you're 65. You could have a pretty good retirement plan from the city parish for your service after 15 years. Mm-hmm. Pretty hefty retirement plan.
Good, yeah, absolutely. If you're coming from somewhere that doesn't provide that type of a retirement, you can come work with us for a little while and make at least a little bit of a retirement.
Let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the streets of Baton Rouge, and it's happening in Lafayette, it's happening in New Orleans. Now, Lafayette does not have a municipal EMS service.
Correct.
New Orleans does. Lafayette relies on Acadian Ambulance, which is a fine company, very experienced, as you told us earlier, accredited the same way you are.
Correct.
But we are seeing a hell of a lot of violent car versus human being accidents. Mm-hmm. We are seeing a lot of gunshots. Not all of them are fatal.
Right.
We are still seeing people dropping dead or close to dead of overdoses. Mm-hmm. And we are seeing a lot of high-speed impact car to car. Our traffic collisions are getting to be more violent. And this is amazingly intricate critical care. How much of our percentage these days for East Baton Rouge EMS is going to this kind of critical care happening out in the streets?
So I'm glad that you brought it up. I could talk about some of the new advancements and procedures that we've got now. So, you were in it for a long time ago, back in the 70s. So you know what was called mass trousers.
Yep.
You had the mass trousers, which basically you put them on and it kind of constricts your blood flow to your extremities and kind of forces the blood up. Now we have a medication called dopamine, which kind of does that chemically. Mm-hmm. So it kind of constricts everything and gets your blood pressure up. We have a medication called TXA that's used to help people that are bleeding, kind of helps their blood clot and to form platelets. So that way, you're not bleeding out as much. That's good for a trauma patient. We have what's called a Lucas device that does mechanical CPR. So if we have a person who does not have a heartbeat, we put the device on them and it gives accurate, good compressions for the CPR. You have your old standbys, the traction splints, different types of pelvic binders, and without getting into the technicalities of all those devices, basically if you have a trauma patient, we have a lot more, just like I said, I keep saying tools in the toolbox, but that's kind of the way I consider it. Our ambulance is our toolbox. Not only that, but we have some other procedures that we could also do. And we're constantly learning, we're constantly changing. We're about to get ventilators on our ambulances as well.
Really?
Through Zoll. Zoll has a ventilator that's about this big. And literally it's plug and play. You hook everything up to it, put it on the patient, and it just breathes for them.
Is this one of these ones that was made during the early days of the pandemic very quickly by people like GM and all that, so you could get more vents into hospitals?
This one is not. This one was kind of made and tested by the military. The military uses this kind of ventilator. It's very easy to use. It's very compact, portable. You can grab it and just walk with the patient. You don't have to have it on a big machine like you'd see in a hospital. It uses a pump and the outside air, and then you can hook oxygen to it. And you can run on anybody that has congestive heart failure, asthma, COPD, any kind of a respiratory condition. This will help them breathe.
And that's in the ambulance?
In the ambulance, in their house.
It's amazing.
See, the reason I asked
you could be sitting on your couch. I could hook it up right now if I had to.
Wow.
So it's very nice. And all the data from that integrates into our Zoll monitor, and then that can go onto the patient
And you
report.
demoed that for us here, the Zoll monitor.
Yeah. So whenever you actually have the patient report, you have all this information, all this data. The hospitals can pull it down. They can see what your lungs were doing at your house versus now. It can mark improvements. It can see trends. It can say, well, you were really bad off then, but look how much better you are now.
Well, and for the people that aren't trained on this, particularly when we're dealing with respiratory issues, if you can actually see lungs here, now lungs here, it can also impact your dosing of some of the medications you're giving.
Right.
So you're getting more accurate dosing.
Correct. Or you might not even need medicine because this ventilator has done such a good job that you no longer need anything to get the fluid out of your lungs because the ventilator has helped your lungs do that. So,
Brad, let me ask you about gunshot wounds. They're very frequent here. We have a huge number of non-fatal gunshot wounds. But gunshot wounds can be deadly, and of course the big risk is a bleed out. It used to be when the ambulance came, if somebody had a gunshot wound, you maybe got some gauze, and just pack that thing, and then somebody would sit and hold it for the ride.
Right.
What do you do now for a gunshot wound to staunch that blood to keep that blood
depending
from
on where it is, like I was saying before, we have binders, tourniquets, the TXA medication. So like let's say it's in your leg, we'd put a tourniquet up here to stop the blood flow. So that way you're not bleeding out as much. We do still use the pressure bandaging. If it's in the chest area, we have what's called a chest seal. So it's basically just a big, I don't know, piece of tape. We
self-adhesive.
just slap it on there. And
packing
How
tape.
big a piece of tape?
It's about this big. And
so that would cover maybe multiple wounds if
it
necessary.
could, absolutely. And what the problem with your lungs is whenever you're breathing, if you have a hole in there, the air is coming in, going out. If you get too much air in the cavity of the chest, it pushes against the lung.
And then the lung
where
deflates.
the lung can't, So the chest seal lets air escape, but not let it come in.
I have had a run of
just amazing
of bad luck in traffic lately, but I've noticed something. It's the paramedics working the ambulances are getting a lot of extra hands. I think I've probably seen 3 or 4 bad collisions, and I've always seen a sprinter unit with another supervisor in it. And particularly in St. George, I believe they are now up to every one of their firefighters is at least EMT rated, and they serve to give you extra hands. Do you need them with this kind of multiple trauma situation?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I can't tell you too much about St. George and their plans, but a little bit of what they're planning on doing is they do have all their firemen EMT trained. Some of them are what's called AEMT, which is advanced EMT, so they can actually give some medications. They can start IVs. So there might come a time in the future where they will arrive before us start an IV, start treatment, and the patient says, wow, I feel better, and they can cancel us. So that way it frees up another ambulance. So we're working with a relationship with them. We're talking about taking some of the St. George guys and putting them on sprint trucks with us to help out. And then there's talk of other fire departments doing the same. So, I mean, the more people you have out there with training that can get there fast, the better.
You know, I think a lot of people think that we've got 150 EMS units in this parish.
Right.
And you're getting more, you said how many more, 16?
16.
What's that going to bring our total to out on the street?
Well, they're not all going to be running at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So right now we have 12 units up during the day, and it goes down to 9 at night. Adding these extra units is going to help us bring our numbers closer to like 14 or 15 during the day, and maybe like 10 or 12 at night. And then as we get more employees hired and we get more ambulances in service, it's just really going to help the city. We're also talking about changing our whole model. So right now we have the EMS stations, which are still going to stay there. However, we're talking about going to what's called a centralized hub model. A lot of major cities do this, where you have all of your ambulances parked in one location, and everybody switches out there. And then so once one crew comes up, the other one can go down. So that's also going to help with not only getting our crews off on time and cutting down on overtime costs, but it's going to have more availability of the fleet in general.
Well, and again, a lot of that, I know you all know logistics probably better than anybody, but you're covering a lot of ground with very few resources, basically.
Yes, absolutely. This is a big parish, you know, especially in the northern parts of the parish. If we got to go off of Pride Port Hudson Road, it's going to take us 20 minutes on a good day if the unit's in station to get up there. So
chopper, time for a chopper.
Well, that's another thing. We have a partnership with Acadian on that. So
time for a chopper. Anyway, our guest today, always glad to have him, Lieutenant Brad Harris with East Baton Rouge Parish EMS, telling you everything that they are doing to help keep us safe and, well, actually, when we get sick or get injured, to help us recover more quickly as they bring us to whatever care facility is necessary. Brad, thanks so much for being with us.
No problem.
Good seeing you again, Brad.
It's good talking to y'all.
Back in a moment to wrap things up on Exiles TV. So, when Cameron...
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
We're making 2021 the year of savings, and it starts right now at Team Toyota. Come get a new 21 Corolla for just $189 a month, or get a 20 Camry for just $19,995. It's a year full of savings starting right now, right here at Team Toyota.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Commenting during the commercial break, how much the ambulance experience has changed since we were young men or kids. In my case, I was telling Brad, back when I was a kid, the ambulance was usually a Cadillac hearse, sometimes even from a funeral home.
Oh yeah, usually from a funeral home.
But even if like the hospital had ambulance, it was a Cadillac hearse. It wasn't a van, and they weren't equipped to do anything other than get you there. That was it.
Swoop and
They'd
scoop.
Swoop you up, put you on a gurney, put the gurney in the back of that thing, and haul ass to the hospital.
Yeah.
And there was no care. There was no.
They usually had an oxygen cylinder.
Really? I
Yeah.
don't remember that at all.
Yeah,
I got
they-
ambulanced one time, and it was basically just a big station wagon.
Yeah, they usually had an oxygen cylinder, and maybe a cardboard splint for legs and one for arms.
And some simple first aid materials.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it could be, the diagnostics and stuff on an ambulance can be the difference between life and death.
It's a hospital on wheels. I remember when years ago they used to put on the big box ambulances, MICU. And what does that stand for? Mobile Intensive Care Unit. And it was.
Wow.
This is breaking news, and this is not good news. 2 FBI agents were killed, 3 other FBI agents wounded in a shooting in Sunrise, Florida.
Yeah, I'd been watching that breaking on the monitor.
They were trying to serve a warrant in a violent crimes against children case. Their words, not mine. The suspected shooter was also killed. FBI said in a statement that a team of law enforcement officers went to an apartment to serve the warrant. Bureau said 2 agents killed, 3 others wounded. 2 of the 3 wounded are in stable condition. The other is in, well, they don't say critical, but they said serious condition. Sunrise Police had been there to assist in the serving of this warrant. They went in about 6 a.m. and they were met with gunfire. And so this is an ongoing story. But yeah, it's, you know what? Dangerous when you have to go into somebody's house with a warrant. You don't know what's behind that door, how many people behind that door. Not good.
And, our friends with the FBI and other federal agencies have been doing the best that they can do with violence against children and human trafficking involving children. There have been a lot of busts. It's funny that with all the other things that were making the news over the past several months that were political, a lot of major busts and a lot of children found and being freed from human trafficking. That happened during the fall and the early winter months, and a lot of it didn't make big news headlines. This is a war that federal and local authorities continue to wage, human trafficking and abuse of children. And it's a problem that I don't see it getting any better. I see it getting worse.
I don't understand. We have this case that was in the news yesterday of this woman that, what was it, 153 pornographic
over 100
images,
counts of child pornography, and dozens of counts of pornography involving animals.
Yeah.
I also yesterday afternoon saw this woman's Instagram profile as opposed to what she really looked like. And let's just say that she was trying to lure young people in by appearing to be very youthful herself. And she, you saw the mugshot. She was not young nor handsome.
Well, you know, what are we dealing with in society that it seems this particular pattern of crime, as horrendous as it is seems to be on an uptick?
It's a good question, and it seems to be something that's very broad, very deep. I mean, look at the whole Jeffrey Epstein case. Jeffrey Epstein allegedly, had so much human trafficking of very, very, very young people.
Yes.
Teens and preteens, that he had an island that he would bring influential people to his island so they could live out their fantasies with teens and preteens.
Well, again, I guess I'm not
allegedly.
I guess I'm not sick enough, but I don't have that fantasy.
No.
But this commercial really took me aback, and I believe it's for some sort of a wireless company, but their commercial has a voice on the phone who says something that's kind of off color, and the voice from the company corrects him, and he was like, well, you're not going to talk dirty to me? Oh, it's a company that makes wipes to clean your phone. Okay. And she said, well, you just took me into the bathroom and handled me, so you've probably got fecal material and all that. And I heard this commercial this morning, and it was like, oh my God, this is so close to basically endorsing a certain type of pornography, which I won't name, and it's a commercial for a company that makes cleansing wipes for phones. We have lost our minds in this country.
Advertising copy. They think everything's fair when you're doing advertising copy.
Well, we are out of here. We thank you so much for joining us, and thanks to our guest, Brad Harris from EMS. Stay well, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Podcast, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning on Facebook Live.
And Clarence Buggs next, right here.